She doesn't know if that's going to continue anymore, or someone not knowing if they can bring their kids to childcare.
This is the payoff to the rich guys who invested in his campaign and who want to cheat families and not have anybody around us.
Okay, they want to cheat families. I'm Doug Tenaple in exile. Now, I'm not a vengeful man, so I don't hate MSNBC, but I am a man with a sense of humor, so I'm going to laugh at them all day long as they go down the drain. And then I'm going to have a big giant party because we need the left to lose and keep losing. I'm not going to show you mercy because as soon as Joe Scarborough can stand back up, he's going to stab you in the chest. Welcome to the Doug Tenaple channel as we mock the end of MSNBC.
Healthcare. But instead what we're seeing is chaos. And so what I'm starting to hear from my constituents, especially when they start to think, oh, this is, my niece. I got one yesterday.
Okay, first of all, she goes, what I'm hearing from my constituents, and then she goes, I mean my niece. That's one person. So anytime you try and defeat an entire argument with one person, because I'll go call my nephew. You have your niece, I'll call my nephew. My constituents on the Doug Tenaple channel, I mean my nephew, who's going to defy everything Amy Klobuchar's niece is going to say right now.
My niece, she has 3 kids, and she's barely holding in there because of a cancer trial that's improving her condition. And
I have a story. Now, she has a personal story that her niece has this cancer thing going on, and that, all the Doge stopping terrible research is going to stop her from getting a cure. I have an answer to it. I'm not going to give it to you yet.
She doesn't know if that's going to continue anymore, or someone not knowing if they can bring their kids to childcare. That's what's happening right now. And I don't think you can expect that people are going to say overnight, well, what's going on here? But I do think what you see is that there has never been this many calls to our office. It broke the phone lines, emails coming in all the time, and that's what's starting to stir the hearts of Americans.
That's not hard data, guys. That's anecdotal. Our phone lines are blowing up. You wish you could get enough. She's talking about the backlash against Elon Musk going into USAID, and stopping all this terrible, illegal, awful spending, okay? And she's going like, it's stopping childcare, it's stopping cancer research. You see, you may not be able to see it unless I turn on the light, but this is a giant divot where they took 3 inches out of my face, 3 inches by 2 inches deep just took all the flesh down to the bone because I had malignant melanoma skin cancer. This is probably back in 2020. Peak COVID shutdown. And what did they do? What did they do during the COVID shutdown? Because they were so afraid of exposing people to the virus, the government shut down and stopped cancer research and cancer treatment. So right when they diagnosed it, it said, oh, you've got malignant melanoma on your face. By the way, you have like a 65% chance of it being all over your body. They had to test my lymph nodes to see if it spread. It did not spread, praise God. God is good, but it did not spread. But it could have. It could have been all caked all over my body. And because of COVID shutdowns, they were forbidden from doing the surgery of pulling it out of my face, cutting it out of my face for 4 months during the lockdown. They finally said, okay, we have permission now from the state to go in and do. So they stopped cancer care, cancer treatment of people who were known to have one of the most deadly forms of cancer there is. Their government, they shut it all down. That's my personal story to counter Amy Klobuchar. Now, nobody at MSNBC or Amy Klobuchar from the government were outraged and were terrified at the treatment that I was denied because of COVID. Now, Elon Musk goes in and he's taking out all of these woke ideology, all of this terrible spending, weirdo Fauci research. My point is that they don't care what research gets shut down until it starts hurting Democrats. And then they pretend like they care about cancer research and childcare. Let's let them continue.
But I do think what you see is that there has never been this many calls to our office. It broke the phone lines, emails coming in all the time, and that's what's starting to stir the hearts of Americans. They want to change. They wanted to bring costs down. That's not what's happening right now. It is pure chaos.
Well, I wonder, though, I mean, you've answered part of this question. Your phones are ringing off the hook. But two things here. When will the consequences of this really become clear to the American people to the point where they see something is going wrong? That's number one.
They'll see it when they have to pay their taxes and it's like half the amount of taxes due, or when they see the budget go down or they see inflation drop. That's when they'll see it. Mika?
Because so far I've heard the only recourse is marching, and I don't necessarily.
Yes! That was our theory. It's the only thing they can do. I'm with Mika. The only recourse is marching. The left, we need to get them marching outfits, help them print posters to have more outrage. Because, by the way, there is one more recourse that the Democrats always do, which is violence in the streets, burning things down, insurrections.
Necessarily think that ends well. Who knows?
I don't actually.
What? Go ahead.
I actually think that there's three parts of this. One is courts, one is Congress, and one is our constituents. And these cases are brought by Democratic attorney generals and others throughout our country.
Funded by Soros, who got kickbacks from USAID. And that's why those attorney generals are fighting this.
And they're based on what Joe was bringing up early. They're based on the Constitution and what our founding fathers set forth as our form of government. This is
holy cow, it's Paul Revere. Suddenly the Democrats are like, our Constitution and our founding fathers, which you didn't quote for the last 4 years. Now suddenly it's the Constitution, the founding fathers. They were against government oversight. They were against auditing, wasteful spending. The founding fathers were. Amy Klobuchar
is not a dictatorship. And there's ways for him to work on the budget, work on reform, bring government efficiency than what they're doing. Secondly, you've got oversight in Congress. You've got these hearings where we're getting them on the record. And our constituents, yeah, they're calling. That's important. But I keep telling them, send us emails. Those emails actually are part of the record. If they're consenting.
I feel like
I'd like my audience to, all of you, send Amy Klobuchar an email since she's asking for emails. Tell her what you think.
Allow us to tell their stories. It's part of the record that people, the AGs are bringing cases and they're
Senator,
showing
I hear
this
you.
is the harm that real people are feeling. It's not just marching. It's actually a strategy.
No, it's just marching. You got nothing. It is a strategy to gum things up and delay, but you're not going to stop Elon Musk. The guy built a car company, a rocket ship company. He's going to go to Mars. Okay? You're not going to stop him.
Go ahead.
I hear you, but we're potentially dealing with, according so far to what we've seen. And by the way, I'm not opposed to thinking it might be trolling, but we have to consider if the courts make a ruling and the administration decides to run over the courts.
Yeah.
What then?
Executive branch running over the courts. Right now, this is her threat, that Trump and Elon Musk are going to go against the courts. I just now read an article today how the Democrats plan to defy the courts, and they will not obey Trump or Doge. So they're defying the court orders.
What can Congress do? You say it's our job in Congress to stand up to it.
Yeah, you can win elections, and then your Congress can do things.
There's two major functions here. One is the oversight of what they're doing, right? And one of the things that we haven't even talked about is that our Republican colleagues have been acquiescing in all of this. I know this.
Not acquiescing to the people's vote is what they call rolling over. Now, they didn't get the message yet. By the way, guys, I know this is really bad material. This is MSNBC, really bad show. We're going to hear from Doge, David Sachs in another clip after this, and he's like going to expose all of this is a lie. So just hold tight. I'm going to make us stew in the lie for a second, but you will be freed from it in just a few minutes. Hold tight.
Seen a few of them stand up from time to time. Maybe they'll stand up to cancer trials being cut. Watch for it.
Yeah, but roll out the cancer babies. That's what that's how desperate they are now. They won't roll out you'll never hear the Democrats tell you the truth about this. If they'll go like, hey, we're here for the children with cancer. Well, you weren't for this child when he had cancer on his face. They're all, well, besides that, I mean, now we're really here it's for the children and the cancer. They never say, Elon Musk just stopped a massive funding and building of a Fauci museum, a museum dedicated to Fauci's work. They just now cut off millions of dollars. They'll never say, they'll always go like, we're just concerned about the stopping of cancer research. You need to say in the same sentence, we're just concerned about the stopping of the funding of the Fauci Museum. They'll never say that. They don't want to tell you in public what USAID was actually funding because they're lying. Why do you think Elon Musk and Trump want to stop wasteful spending? Amy Klobuchar and MSNBC are trying to tell you that their goal of stopping funding is to stop children's cancer research. Does that sound true to any of you? You have to be retarded to believe that.
Maybe they'll stand up to Kash Patel, which they sure better do, as this man who has shown no regard for the truth is about to become head of the FBI.
You hate him because he's Indian. Just say it. We heard that for 4 years. When I opposed Barack Obama, you guys, everyone go, well, we all know why you really disagree with Barack Obama. It's because of a certain something of him being black and you're white. Well, here's Amy Klobuchar, a white person, who is against Kash Patel, an Indian man, brown-skinned man, whom she, I'm going to use the Democrat slogan, it's not because of what he believes, it's because his skin is brown. Right, Amy?
Unless they stand up for it. But they have to stand up to make this really work. Then you have oversight, and you can also pass legislation to make very clear what the limits are on this power. But that being said, I still believe the courts have power. I still believe if this comes up through the court system, you can already see the effects. They stopped the freeze on the funds. They stopped them from getting the Treasury data. They would be personally liable in points for violating these laws. And so I don't care what intern that, he brings in, that Elon Musk brings in, or someone that doesn't even have the necessarily security clearances. At some point, they are responsible for what they do. So I will not concede that what the courts say doesn't matter. I think it does matter.
Well, and as you said, what the United States Senate does and the House does matter. A congressional oversight matters. All of this matters more than a handful of tweets. We will wait and see.
Thank you, Joe, for adding exactly nothing. What a waste of my show's time. Let's get to David Sachs. Look at this guy over here ripping through the dialogue. Right. Let me show you David Sachs. There he is. We have been quoting him a lot. He's part of the Doge team. He is he's a Trump a cabinet appointee. So this is David Sachs. He's like a crypto millionaire, big tech millionaire, and he's a big brain and a great mind, and a recent convert to Trump. Okay, David Sachs. I'm just going to play the video instead of read that tweet. So let me get him up on screen. You guys are going to love the waste that he's exposing. Watch this.
Okay, so we knew the U.S. government runs a $2 trillion deficit every year. We're in debt almost $40 trillion. And we also knew that anytime anyone tries to cut anything in Washington, the whole city screams bloody murder.
Now that just explained everything you just saw on MSNBC. So this is your happy ending.
Okay, so the question is just why? Well, now we know. The money is all going to them. It's like round tripping to them. New York Times, getting paid. Politico, getting paid. Bill Kristol, perennial warmonger, getting paid. Ukraine, getting paid. Like 11 out of 12 publications, Ukraine, getting paid.
Incredible.
Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, was saying that he's very popular in Hungary. His political opposition, funded by USAID.
USAID. We're funding against Viktor Orban. Conservatives In other countries, let's read this Viktor Orban tweet right here. So apparently USAID financed ultra-progressive Politico in Brussels, and basically the entire left-wing media in Hungary under the previous US administration. And they called me Disruptor of the Year. I think the world owes a debt and gratitude to President Donald Trump for uncovering and putting an end to this dark conspiracy. We're illegally funding campaigns around the world. It gets worse. It's much worse. Did you know that your taxpayer dollars were washed through USAID to fund the BBC, the British Broadcasting Network? That's like their PBS. We're taking our tax dollars, and then they come out and attack our president. They only support one candidate, Biden and Harris, and then they totally oppose Trump. That's the Democrats are just disgusting on this. And they'll always go, it's about the children's cancer research. It's the children's. No, it's the BBC. It's your funding progressives against Viktor Orban, against conservative Christian candidates in other countries. You hate Jesus so much that you will fund a candidate in another country who's an avowed atheist Marxist. You scum. And then how dare you stand behind the children? You guys remember the Bible story of Ananias and Sapphira? Go read it. It's funny. They lied about their tithe, trying to make it look like they were so righteous to the people. We give to the poor, but they lied about the amount that they actually gave. They kept some of the money. They sold some of their land, but they kept it for themselves. But they wanted the credit of doing good work in the New Testament church. And God struck Ananias and Sapphira dead. I'm kind of careful not to wish that on the USAID workers. But may what happened to Ananias and Sapphira happen to them. Because I've been the gift of God's mercy has fallen on me. So it's very hard for me to always wish for judgment and justice on other people, but grace for myself. But at least I'm repentant. I know I've done wrong. And I've gone to Jesus and said, forgive me. These USAID people, including the woke leftist church that are coming out in defense of them, they're not repentant. They're like Ananias and Sapphira. Walk carefully, scumbags, you guys in the church, leftists in the church, walk carefully.
In Poland, the left-wing political opposition funded by USAID, and on and on and on it goes.
BBC. You wonder why everyone in the UK. So yeah.
Like
I couldn't believe the BBC is getting paid.
Every left-wing organization in the world seems to be getting paid by this slush fund at
USAID. That's why the Democrats are going crazy. This is their entire Leviathan network of lies, from media to funding political candidates. And then they use feeding children and feeding the starving as a cover.
USAID, which disburses about $50 billion a year. That's $1 billion a week. That's actually a lot of money. And so it makes you wonder, the left in general tries to portray itself as a movement of the people, that it's grassroots. This is the exact opposite. This is AstroTurf. This is basically money coming from the top down out of Washington to fund all of these groups, maybe not even in the United States, like all over the world. So it makes you wonder, what is the real level of local support for these left-wing policies all over the world?
This is the most important thing. Did you guys hear that? We're starting to have, this is why I'm showing you this video today. There's a new revelation occurring to people, opening their minds. Because so many of us are going, how in the world did Biden win in 2020? It's all this astroturfing went in and brainwashed people. I actually think the astroturfing made liberalism look more popular than it was around the world and here in America, because they've been funding everything. Their ideas do not survive in the free market of ideas. They're dead. They're terrible. They've always been bad. They've never worked. Then you go, well, how are they so popular? And you start looking around. Just think about day before this year's election, the day before we thought Trump would definitely win. We thought he might win, but we're going like, how can Kamala Harris be an idiot and this popular in America? You look around at your fellow Americans, you're going like, Is everyone here a communist, atheistic, baby-killing moron? Right? That's what you say, my brother. Guys, it's all propaganda. They're not as popular as they look like because this has all been brainwashing you through every media source, even the news. They've been paying for the news. And you go, well, what about over in Brazil or something? And you see this candidate do really well. I guess, is liberalism all around the world? It's all astroturfed, top down, mostly paid for by our government. That's the thing that's opening mind. I love that David Sachs here is going. He's going, I'm starting to wonder, how popular is liberalism around the world? Guys, we're about to open up a brand new truth is about to be discovered. Because we're sitting here going like, I think America could be done. I think America could be over. There's too many leftists. It's all corrupt. The government's all corrupt. It's all bad. No, guys, it's actually much better than you thought. And then suddenly after election day, everyone's going like, well, where'd all those votes come from? It's Elon Musk broke the spell, pulled the curtain back, and showed you the wizard behind the curtain. And it was a massive tectonic shift. Everyone just said, holy cow, the emperor's naked. By the way, Emperor's New Clothes, that parable was written by Hans Christian Andersen. I think it was in the early 1800s, like 1830 or something crazy, like early 1800s. It was going on back then. That is, they were putting up an emperor who was naked, and it was illegal to speak against the emperor, saying he's naked. And all of the workers were saying his clothes are so fine, and only smart people realize that his clothes are great, and only dumb people think that he is naked or that his clothing is not great. See, it's all about brainwashing. Hans Christian Andersen knew that back in the early 1800s. And today, what do we describe what the left did? Today, Kamala Harris, the emperor, was naked. And finally, it took one kid, a kid that is the low in that parable, the child, the only one who could speak because he was not brainwashed by culture, and no one could threaten to take a child's job away or throw him in prison. A child yelled out, "The king's naked," and started laughing. After a while, everyone else goes, "The king is naked, ha ha," and laughed him off the stage. Guys, that's what happens. Small at first, then all at once everywhere. It started small. And then this blanket is being lifted up. Liberalism is a lie. Let's keep going. Sorry for preaching. Here's Juanita Broderick, whom Clinton, I think did the R word and beat up. But she posted this of Elizabeth Warren, just to show you how desperate they are to push out more propaganda. Here's a new Elizabeth Warren freak out.
If you have a bank account or a credit card or a mortgage or a student loan, this is code red. I am ringing the alarm bell. Elon Musk and the guy who wrote Project 2025.
It's Project 2025. My favorite document in the world. They're still doing Project 2025. You moron. Pocahontas, Native American. How many casinos do you own? Land O'Lakes. You call it corn. We call it maize. Wampum, firewater. What a fake. What a fake. Project 2025, really. Everything Trump has done, by the way, is even worse than Project 2025. It's, worse for Democrats, but better for us. I'm so happy that he transcended Project 2025 and never even read it and just did his own thing. But I just hope all the evil right-wing forces that were behind Project 2025, I hope Trump sets pen to paper and starts Project 2026. Write it up, buddy. Let's go. We got to get them started on some new crazy, because the Project 2025 is just running out of gas. We need some conservative, crazy, right-wing lunatics to write a new Project 2026 so they can change their script.
Rust vote are trying to kill the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. If they succeed, CEOs and Wall Street will once again be free to trick, trap, and cheat you.
Bullcrap. See, Wall Street CEOs are so bury the needle leftist. All right, keep going. I'm going to let her.
The CFPB is the little agency working to shut down scams and fraud on payment apps like Zelle and PayPal and Cash App. It's the agency that steps in when the big bank trips up and repossesses your car. It's the agency that's working to cut those crazy fees that banks and credit card companies bury down in the fine print, and then you got to pay for them. Already, this little agency has forced giant banks and corporations to give back more than $21 billion directly to families they cheated.
You don't care. You don't care. $21 billion. That's half of the budget of USAID. $20 billion. Does she care about saving $20 billion? Does she look at this? Is she being an honest engine? Does she sound like she's telling you? By the way, that's a very pretty room behind her. I like her taste in decorating. Very simple tree. She's got a stained glass back there. I like the dark wood inset lighting. She's got some plants. What is that, a swing? She's living good.
And that includes hundreds of millions of dollars back for veterans who got cheated by predatory lenders.
Oh, yeah, you care about the veterans. They care about the veterans.
So why are these two guys trying to gut the CFPB?
No, why?
Not rocket science.
Really?
Trump campaigned on helping working people. But now that he's in charge, this is the payoff to the rich guys who invested in his campaign and who want to cheat families and not have anybody around to see.
Okay. They want to cheat families. Trump promised the working man stuff, but now he and Doge, they want to pay back their rich Wall Street people. Okay.
Stop them. Yeah, it's another scam.
Yeah.
After the 2008 financial crash and the big bank bailout,
Yeah.
Congress created the CFPB to protect people from getting swindled.
Oh, yeah, they're doing a great job from getting anyone out there. It's not the government answer never works. People get swindled all the time. Sam Bankman-Fried had the biggest swindle in his crypto that was not stopped by the government. He used all the money to give to Democrats, including Elizabeth Warren, by stealing. It was a giant crypto fraud. Billions. He gave $2 billion to the Democrat Party.
Years, Republicans have tried and tried again to repeal it in Congress, and they have failed every single time. Congress built the CFPB, and no one other than Congress, not the president, not Musk, not vote, can shut it down. There is power in fighting back. Power. We will not let up in Congress or the courts until we win this fight.
There's power, guys. Are you scared yet? We are not going to give up till we win this fight. I think you should do more videos, Elizabeth Warren. Your fight is so funny. I'm not scared. You're my entertainment. The designer of your room, I really do need to steal that look and put it in my studio, though.
So please, call your representative and most of all, get the word out. We are here to fight for the little agency that fights for us.
You're for the little guy. There she is. Look at her face. Billionaire for the little guy. I'm here to fight for you. You guys don't understand. This isn't for me. I'm Elizabeth Warren. This is for you. Look at that face. Is that a dishonest face? That's her face. Sunday school teacher. It's for you. It's for you. It's all for you. I would never do something for me. I'm jealous of your studio. I covet it. I covet your lighting also. Look how much better her lighting is on her face than mine is on mine. And that's all we got from Wrong Answers Only, the Democrat Party, guys. I'll summarize all of this for you. We're winning. All they can do is make these videos. When in her video, they say, I just need you to fight. It means her side is not fighting. When she says, I'm doing a call to action, it means they're not acting. This is all the astroturfing they can do now. It's not working. Trump's winning. They're terrified. I will let you know if I hear anything different. But in the meanwhile, we're going to keep dancing on the grave of the Democrat Party. I'm Doug in exile. God is good. If you guys have not subscribed, please click. And of course, leave a comment. I love to hear from you guys. Are you scared? Will you guys help me write Project 2026? I'm Doug in exile.